said, my name is Melissa Brown. I am an admissions counselor here at CA, and we are all so happy to have you and are able to share a bit more about some of our amazing teachers and departments here at CA. So from this webinar, you will be hearing a lot about different performing and visual art opportunities that we have, and I'm going to pass it over to Michael Bennett to start.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. My name is Michael Bennett. I'm the head of the Performing Arts Department, and I teach in the music program. I direct the vocal ensembles. I've been at the school since 2013, and I live on campus, so I'm also a residential house affiliate in our boarding life program. I work as an academic advisor and a club advisor for the student a cappella groups. And I also am the music director for the annual musical that we put on, among other things. So, but I am glad to be here to talk a little bit about performing arts and specifically the music program, where we have a number of music ensembles that students can participate in if you play an instrument or sing. And we have entry points for everywhere from beginners to experienced players. There's a place for you. And we have a few vocal ensembles, so there's a non-auditioned chorus as well as an auditioned chamber choir called CA Singers. We also have a few jazz ensembles of various levels, including a sort of rock and pop group with some singers as the front people and then the band that backs them up. And we also have a robust chamber music program here for students who play classical instruments and participate in chamber music. In addition to those ensembles, we also have a number of daytime courses that happen. Some of those are introductory courses on instruments, and others cover topics like music theory, music history, and as well as digital music production and musical instrument design. Lots of exciting courses in music. So, welcome.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michael. And then we will go to Rika to talk specifically more about dance.
Hi, my name is Rika Okamoto. I teach dance here at the Concord Academy. The dance program at Concord Academy, the core curriculum has dance 1 and 2 and 3, and then the dance 4, we don't really call it dance 4, but it is a Concord Academy dance project, which is it's like a performing dance company that they perform twice a year. And besides those classes, there's also other seasonal courses, which is we have this year we offer choreographers workshop. Sometimes on the other years we offer ballet workshop. And then also we do mindfulness, body mind centering course once a year to focus on body and mind connecting together. And also I'm an advisor for the student club, which one is called On Point, which is the ballet club. The student who wants to pursue ballet, they made a club for that, and I'm an advisor for that. And there's another club called Worst Behavior, which is a hip hop club, and I'm also an advisor for that too.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rika. And then we will go to Shelley for a bit more in depth into the theater.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Shelley Bolden. I teach theater, and I also direct one of the main stages each year. And like dance, we have theater classes 1 through 4 in a variety of flavors, such as improvisation or scene study. And then we also have multiple performance opportunities throughout the year. We have 3 main stages, in the one directed by each of the 2 theater teachers, myself and Megan Shai Gleason, who's not with us tonight. And then we also have Director's Workshop, which is a class open by, not audition, but by application to seniors who have already taken all classes 1 through 3. And that's a student-directed, student-designed, student-led production main stage. And then we also have WOYAM, which is a student playwriting group, which also has performance possibilities. And just in a nutshell, I would say that the theater program, we are about finding personal expression learning how to collaborate with our peers, and gaining confidence in ourselves as three-dimensional people outside of a Zoom box, and gaining confidence in our personal expression and being in front of an audience, and taking that into whatever fields we may go to in the future, whether it's theater or business or lawyers or anything.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shelley. And now we're going to switch over to our visual arts, starting with Monica.
Hi, I'm Monica Ripley, and I'm the head of the visual art program at Concord Academy. I'm also the ceramics teacher. I live on campus, so I'm house faculty and club advisor to the ceramics club. So just a quick overview of the visual art program. We have lots of different classes that we offer a very robust program. And we try to, or we like to think that we have such a variety of classes that students can easily find into our department. So we have ceramics, drawing, sculpture, painting, figure classes, printmaking, film that is both documentary and fiction, and then photography that is film-based camera and digital, and then a fashion design and a fibers-based class. Oh, wait a minute, I always forget one, graphic design. Yeah, so then in ceramics, that's what I teach, that's my specialty. That is both sculpture and wheel work. So I'm trying to get my students to see and work three-dimensionally, making more concrete objects on the wheel and then more abstract sculpture.
Perfect. Thank you, Monica. And then Justin, if you want to share a bit more about film.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Again, I'm Justin Bull. I teach within the visual arts department, the film program, with my colleague, Ben Stumpf, who handles the documentary side of things. I tend to teach the more narrative-driven courses, and then we have a lot of overlap intersection. Currently this semester, I'm also teaching Introduction to Animation and intermediate animation course as well. I guess the film program is pretty representative of any visual art sub-discipline that you might take, in that students, as Monica was saying, can come in their 9th grade freshman semester and dive deeply into any discrete discipline they're interested in. So you could take Introduction to Film Production fall semester, much like Performing Arts as well, which I think sets us apart from a lot of other options out there. And from Introduction to Film Production, you can really go as wide or as deep within the film program as you like. We have a multitude of intermediate level courses. We don't call them Film 1, 2, 3. It's really Introduction to Film, and then you can do animation, you can do film direction. I'm teaching a special topics course in cinematography next semester that I'm hoping to collaborate with Rika and her dancers on. We also offer screenwriting, which can be taken as an English credit in your upper level years. Film history can be taken as a history elective. The Performing Arts also has history electives. Shelley, I think, is teaching this year. Yeah.
Michael is this year.
Michael this year, Shelley next. And for film, we eventually capstone, like one of our sort of flagship courses is called the Feature Film Project, which is a year-long course taken by 11th and 12th graders, where through the course of the year, we study film performance, story, narrative design, and by the end of the year, we have both conceived of, produced, and premiered a original feature-length film that usually goes on to compete at film festivals around the world.
Perfect. Thank you all for sharing a bit about what you do and who you are here at CA. Now I'm going to ask all of our panelists here what either their favorite class they've taught or one of their favorite aspects of working at CA. So Michael, do you want to start?
Sure. I think in the performing arts, and this is true, I know in visual arts as well, we really value collaboration and opportunities that we get to work cross-disciplinarily with other departments. And for us, that often includes just working within our own department to get to collaborate with one another. So for me, I'm a big lover of musical theater. And when we have the opportunity to do a musical that brings the theater and the dance and the music side of what we do all together in one big production, that is always hugely rewarding for me personally, but also I think for the students who get to work in this kind of multimodal environment.
Thank you. And then Rika.
I know it's kind of funny answer, but I do love every single class that I teach here. Every class, the students are so creative, and I always get inspired by them. I'm always learning from them because their inspiration, creativity, and the no filter, the just giving. So I really love teaching here. But Dance One, which is the completely beginner, no formal dance lesson in their life. That those student comes to the Dance One class. They're awesome, really awesome. They just dive into a movement. Dance Two composition class, their creativity, I'm always blown away. Dance Project, all these dancers who performs, they gel together. It's just wonderful to work with them.
Thank you for sharing that, Rika. And Shelley, what's your either favorite class or favorite part of CA?
I will just agree with Rika that I love all the classes I teach. They're all terrific in different ways. And I'll say that one of the things that I really enjoy most recently about teaching theater is that I feel coming out of the pandemic and coming out of classes online that all of us feel, I'll speak for myself, I feel a little more tentative than I used to, and I feel that sense in my classes as well. And that theater and the performing arts are experiential and collaborative. And I think it's an excellent way for us to regain our footing and rediscover our confidence in a safe, creative community. And I just love seeing a class go from 15 odd strangers to acquaintances and maybe a couple of friends who know each other to a really tight ensemble that respects and supports and enjoys working with each other and can take risks together as a group and individually. So a lot of what I'm enjoying doing right now is encouraging people to push themselves outside of their comfort zone and find new things out about themselves through performance and through collaboration.
Thank you for sharing that, Shelley. And Monica.
There are so many things I could say. So I'll try to say something that hasn't been said yet. I really enjoy how the art classrooms are kept open outside of class hours. So they follow what I generally tell everybody is the boarding house hours. They're open until 10 o'clock Monday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday night, 11 o'clock at night, and Sunday 9:30. So what I really like about that is that it gives students access to art outside of their classrooms, and it's very welcoming. And since I live on campus, I'm walking my dog, say at night, I often see the lights on in different rooms in the building, and it's really nice. And then I've walked in before, and there's kids talking, helping each other, being very supportive, and their friends maybe they're studying at the same time. It's just a really nice environment. And I think that our sense of common trust and extended hours really help do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sorry. I'll just add, I just realized I also forgot to mention I'm a House faculty member as well. I live on campus with my family, and probably more of interest, one of them is also a 10th grader at Concord Academy who absolutely is loving her time in the Pippin rehearsals that are happening right now over in the performing arts. So to extend the common trust idea, I think one of the things, I've been here for 16 years, and I absolutely value that both with colleagues as well as with students, that notion of common trust to really take risk. I think both the performing and visual arts departments are about risk taking and about failing beautifully, so that we can evolve. So I'm thinking back on some pretty wild courses, the feature film would be one of those where I don't think many schools would just blanket approve that kind of curriculum without really examining closely what's under the hood. And the school just gives unequivocal support to educators here to trust that we are experts in our disciplines, and trust the idea that students will go where the enthusiasm is. And on that flip side, I love all of my classes coming in, knowing that students are there to genuinely take risk, to not put up masks, unless they're in the mass theater course, of course, then they're wearing. But to really be genuine in the classroom and know that there's an environment where they can fall and someone will catch them.
Perfect. Thank you all for sharing a bit more about CA and what you do here. I'm going to open this up to questions now. So if prospective students and families, if you have any questions, please feel free to put that in the chat box, and we will do our best to get to all of your questions and really help show you who we are here at CA and give you a deeper understanding into everything we do. So for Rika, we had a bit more of a specific question into ballet and kind of what offerings we have in regards to ballet.
So we do offer dance 1, 2, 3. Those are not specifically what kind of style the dance. We don't specifically say what kind of style, but I always include every different style of, I sneak them into the class. So ballet is always sneaked in to the class. And so without saying, especially for dance 1 and 2, ballet gets a little bit scared. Students get scared when they hear ballet. So without saying that, it's like a vegetables in the cooking, you kind of sneak in, then you cook so the kids eat. Something like that, I just sneak them in because it is a good training, but I don't want to make student into the mold. I want them to grow as an individual, and I would like to include everyone from all different background and make a dance, not divide into this style, but definitely the ballet is sneaked into every single class and courses. Some may realize ballet is in there, they don't know, but they're doing it.
Perfect. And just a quick follow-up in regards to that. Someone is wondering if there is tap and jazz and modern incorporated into that.
Yes, completely. If it's a modern, I include all different modern technique into the class also. Student doesn't know which technique from which modern dance class, but I include Martha Graham technique, Merce Cunningham technique, Limon technique, Horton technique. I just sneak them into the class. So it's all, they're all learning it. And jazz too, because we do musical here. So we include them. And tap, we don't wear tap shoes, but I work on the rhythms. So syncopation and a little bit of movement, quick movement, doing a little tap movement. But again, I don't specifically say this is the tap, but it's all included in class. And I build the class so it's all inclusive. So everybody is challenged and everybody has something to learn.
And some tap showed up in your most recent dance project performance too.
Yes, absolutely. That recital was beautiful. And so, Michael, we have a lot of music-oriented questions. So our first one is, do students have to be taught music specifically through the school to be eligible to participate in performances and ensembles, or can they have that outside prior knowledge to maybe place into or be a part of that?
Yeah, great question. So we do require for our instrumental ensembles, both on the jazz side and the chamber music side, we require that students be taking lessons on their instrument, but that does not have to be at CA. So if you're working with a teacher outside of school already that you know and love and have been working with for years, you're fine to keep studying with that teacher, as long as we know that you're taking weekly lessons.
Thank you. And I'm coming right back to you. So what are the opportunities for music composition here at CA?
Yeah, we offer private lessons in composition just the same way that we do any other instrument. And then most of the place that and we've had students who study composition and have had music performed by our music ensembles here at the school. And we also have a composers club that's spearheaded by some of our student composers. And where most students are composing these days is actually on their computers through a digital medium. And so we offer multiple levels of digital and electronic music for students who are looking to explore that kind of genre.
Thank you. And we have some students wondering about how many musical productions we have each year. And in regards to the musical, what does that rehearsal day look like for students who are involved?
Yep. So we typically do two what we call main stage theater productions a year, usually a play and a musical. And that can vary from year to year. We try to offer a wide range of different kinds of shows that we do. There are lots of other ways to get involved in theater with some other performance opportunities, but those are the two big main stages that we do. Those are aligned with our sports seasons. So you would be choosing to do the play or the musical as your seasonal activity for that particular season. And the rehearsal schedule would be 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday for 3 hours in the afternoon, 3:30 to 6:30. That's the full window of time, but you wouldn't necessarily be called all of that time. But that is, for instance, when we're working on a musical, students are called a lot more because there's just so much going on. So that's the time commitment for that.
And just to amplify that as to what it might look like on any given day, could be any number of things. It might be that the choreographer or choreographers are working with students in one area, the director is working with students on a scene in another area, and the music director, Michael, is in a music room going over some music students. So it could be any number of things, and then all of that's rehearsing separately and then coming together over the course of the rehearsal period. And then as you get deeper into the rehearsal time, people are being called more frequently, the entire cast, and we're trying to put all those different forms and disciplines together into a coherent unified piece.
Yes, thank you for sharing all of that. And we have some folks wondering if students can participate in orchestra and chamber music throughout the whole year.
Yeah, so those our music ensembles are year-long commitments. So we ask that students are committing to the full year unless they're doing a semester away program. So yes, you would be, if you were signed up for chamber music, you would be doing that all year. There are special times for our music ensembles that meet Mondays in the afternoon. What we call Music Mondays, where students are freed from their athletic responsibilities on those Monday afternoons. In fact, it's really only varsity teams that even practice on Mondays. JV teams don't meet on Mondays to accommodate music rehearsals. And then there's also a special time on Wednesdays that doesn't conflict with any other class that students do their music rehearsals. So it's very easy to fit in music courses into your schedule throughout the year.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then Monica, we will be switching over to some visual arts. So we have someone wondering a bit more about specific teachers within the visual arts department and the disciplines that they teach. And is there any kind of cross collaboration with visual arts and different classes and different courses on campus?
Okay, so as for the teachers, we're all hired because we're considered experts in our field. So we're all highly trained. And then one of the things that I also really like about Concord Academy is that the visual art teachers are expected to be working artists. So we're all still practicing our disciplines. Did you want like individual names, or I'm not really
No, I
quite
think
sure.
that's, yeah, I think that example, just kind of working artists who are also talented and. Mhm.
Okay, and so we're all working within our specific field too. So, and then the cross collaborations, we try to meet students where they're at and try to help them with what they need. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to collaborate in a whole different ways with lots of different departments. Justin has done some of that work, a lot of that work. And he could speak specifically to what he's done. For me in ceramics, I've worked with a number of the English teachers and a number of the history teachers, coming up with clay-related components as options for project-based learning. And then in the spring, I'm collaborating with one of the science teachers for a short little stint on some of the science behind clay. And then for clubs, we have some clubs that definitely are talking to each other and collaborating with each other. The Green Club and the Ceramics Club are big collaborators. The Ceramics Club makes a lot of cups and mugs for Green Day sort of celebrations, so then the Environmental Club helps out with that. And then I've also done some work with Demons, which is more like the engineering, and that's a lot of 3D based thinking and rendering sort of stuff. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Justin, did you want to add on to those collaborations at all?
Sure, I'd be happy to. We've done quite a bit in the film program. So we've had collaborations with English courses. There was a cross taught lit of the collective where I worked with a colleague of mine in the English department, and we really surveyed, examined the theme, the idea of the collective through literature as students were thinking about character design and story for, that was the third feature film project we made. So it all fed eventually into the themes and ideas that we explored in the screenplay that we ended up writing. In the history department, I co-taught a collaborative media production history course surrounding the idea of the Robbins House, which is an amazing piece of history in Concord that revolves around a Black family that was living within this house and doing some remarkable activist work in the late 1800s. And that was funded by a program at Concord Academy called Department X, which is dedicated resources for teachers to explore and think beyond siloed disciplines and exclusively work within these cross-disciplinary ideas, or push something within their own discipline in new ways. It can also afford a teacher time to think about ways to reinvent or refocus their own work within their departments. With Michael, I did a very bonkers course called Dance, Music, and New Media, where we had students coming in and identifying as experts within their discipline, and we made projection mapped live experiential music dance things. It was very, very cool. I could go, there's a bunch, but there's some examples.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. And Monica, in regards to what you said earlier about students being able to use the studio spaces in off hours, we have someone wondering if that is supervised by teachers or not.
Oh, that's a great question. So the teachers of those individual fields are not required to be in those spaces. However, there are adults who are on duty who are roaming those spaces and keeping eyes on all the spaces on campus and who's in there and how are they using their spaces safely.
Thank you so much. And Michael, are students allowed to have their instruments in their room, for example, a keyboard with headphones?
Yeah, so things have been different during COVID, but now I think other house parents can help me with this. We don't allow students to play their instruments. We encourage them to practice their instruments in the music practice rooms in the music facility. We have had plenty of students who keep, guitars, quieter instrument like an electric guitar that's unplugged, or for instance, a MIDI controller, like keyboard, little mini keyboard. I'm not sure about a full-size keyboard. Sometimes that comes down to the amount of space in the room and whether the room is being shared by other students and things like that. So, but we do have a plentiful number of pianos around campus, as well as some keyboards that students can access.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. And we have someone who's wondering if there are visual art competitions that students participate, whether that's in CA or through CA. So if there's any form of art shows or anything like that.
We have 2 art shows a year. We have the fall art show where every student who's taken a class will be represented. And then we have the spring art show. Outside of that, we don't have any competitions, but we do have a very active arts council that is made up of students with 1 faculty advisor. And and those students are students in both of our departments. They're both visual arts and performing arts on that council. So they can decide if they would like to have more shows. I think that there's some conversations right now happening on the Arts Council about doing some pop-up shows. And so we have those opportunities. And then occasionally we'll get opportunities or calls for, hey, would you like to submit to this outside thing? And the students are always welcome to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. And we have someone wondering if you need to be actively in an art class or involved in theater to be using those spaces, maybe if they're not taking it that term, but do all students have access to the different places on campus or no?
I mean, I can hop in, Monica, just because you just said. So for the visual arts, if a student has previously taken a course and has an independent project they want to be working on, they can certainly talk to the teacher and arrange. Usually it's, especially if it's an expendable process that's going to require materials, there might be a materials fee to cover that usage. Students are always welcome to come hang out in any of the spaces, regardless of whether they identify as a photo student or not. You'll frequently find photography students with their many friends in the photo labs developing things. If a student is coming in and they have not taken our intro courses, there would probably be a conversation about their experience and their understanding of the proper use of the equipment. And then I think it would be on a case-by-case basis, depending on the readiness of the student to be working independently with that equipment safely. I don't know if performing arts has a similar, the theater I imagine has its own.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same, in general at CA, our spaces are open to everyone. When they're open, and when they're closed, they're closed. So, we, for instance, the music practice rooms or the dance studio, these are spaces that are left unlocked. And when the general building or that area of campus is open for students to be in, those spaces are open as well. Yeah. And about music practice rooms, I'll just also say we often get the question of, students can come and practice during the school day, and they can also use their study hall time to practice in the practice rooms.
Yeah, and I would just like to add that there's quite a few clubs that happen. So the ceramics club, and there's like a painting club and just an art club. And I think there's a film club and a video processing club. So even if a student is not currently enrolled in a class, there's lots of opportunities to be investigating their interests in art in other ways and other times.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for all of that. And so kind of two similar music related questions. How do you go about forming the music ensemble groups? And also, do we offer kind of beginner music classes or instructions for someone who might be new to an instrument?
Yep, so we offer introductory courses in guitar, piano, and voice. Those are our most common instruments that get asked to be studied in our private lesson program. So we offer group classes for those. Anyone can sign up for an individual music lesson with a private one-on-one lesson with a teacher. Those are an additional fee, but we do provide a teacher for any instrument that a student wishes to study. And those are worked into the school day. They are academic courses that are taken for credit, but we certainly welcome students who have never tried an instrument to try something out for the first time. We love to see that. As far as the ensembles, we do placement hearings in the fall each year. So specifically for chamber music, our director of chamber music, Andra Dix, holds hearings. It's not so much an audition as it is a hearing to get a sense for the level. And then students are grouped together based on their ability so that they're all feeling equally challenged by the repertoire.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And another kind of similar question, but different in a way for a cappella groups. What is that process like?
Yeah, we have 4 student singing groups. We have a mixed group, we have a trebles group and a bass group, and then we have a musical theater club that puts on a review at the end of each year called Concord Cabaret. And so those are the 4 groups. They're student-led, student-run. The students pick the repertoire, they rehearse in the evenings, usually during dinner time, and they have a variety of different opportunities to perform for the community throughout the year.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. And Shelley, we have some students wondering if we have clips online to watch parts of the main stages or the musicals. So are there any online access points to see that?
At this point, I don't think there are. Part of the challenge with that is that the licensing rights for most musicals don't allow for it. So as much as we would love to have that video record of the performances, legally we can't share that even in small clip form.
But we can all testify just how amazing all of the students do in visual and performing arts, and from every point, whether it's stage crew to lead actors or actresses. And so we are wrapping up. And so if we were not able to get to your question, I will be putting my email address in the chat, so you can feel free to reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to put you in contact with any of these lovely panelists to help further answer your questions. And to wrap up, I'm just going to have every panelist say maybe a favorite tradition that they have here. We have at CA. And so why don't we start with Shelley?
One of my favorite traditions is the chapel, and you've probably all heard about it already, but I just think it's so great that every senior has the opportunity, not the requirement, but the opportunity to share 15 minutes of fame and their story with the community, whatever that might be. And it could be they're going to play an instrument or sing a song or just talk or all of the above. It's whatever use they want to make of that time. And I usually end each chapel crying a little bit, just because I'm a softie and I wear my heart in my sleeve, and I'm a parent, and I sit there thinking, oh, the parents in the audience must be loving this.
Absolutely. And Rika, what is your favorite tradition here?
Well, I was going to say chapel too, but since Shelley already mentioned it, at the graduation, the senior, when they call their name, they don't call their name alphabetical order. They call randomly. And then the last one to be called get the sock, which is the money was donated by seniors. And then the last one to be called up there received the socks. I think it's a great fun tradition in the graduation.
Thank you for sharing that, Rika. And Justin, what's your favorite tradition? You're muted.
That's good, because I was saying my favorite tradition I can't speak of because it's only for the boarding community. But I'll say my second favorite tradition, which is that every once in a while, Michael's singing groups around the holiday season drop into your class and carol for your class, which is lovely.
Thank you, Justin. And Michael, what is your favorite?
Yes, the students were asking me when we were going to be serenading the halls. I do love, and I'm partially plugging my own thing, but it's just because it's on my mind. Next week is our holiday concert, and it's just a really lovely event at a special time of year at the end of the first semester in the winter time, and it's a nice candlelit evening in the chapel with lots of great music from across the various ensembles in our program. So it's a nice way to end the first semester.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to going to that. And Monica, what is your favorite tradition?
I'm trying not to be redundant, but I can't think of anything that hasn't already been said. I love chapel. I'm a sucker for chapel. It's such a wonderful opportunity to sit and not be the participant, but to just sit and listen to someone else tell their story and be reminded of all the different ways that humans exist, and gain a little bit more insight and respect into all of our differences and similarities. I think it's a great way to start the day, and I find it just really grounding. I have laughed, I have cried, I have inwardly cheered. You're not supposed to make really any sound during chapel. It's supposed to be very quiet, and I really like it. I really love it.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing so much about who you are here and what you do. And we would like to just thank all of the visitors, the participants here, and thank you for your thoughtful questions. And I put my email in the chat, so please feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. And we would just like to say thank you again. So have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone.